Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Donna M Atwood, and I'm the founder of SEEN, the Spiritual and Extraterrestrial Experiencers Network. And before we get into our discussion today, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to introduce myself because I realize that probably many of you on this channel don't really know who I am at all. So again, my name is Donna M Atwood, and I'm an intuitive empath. I'm an experiencer, as in an extraterrestrial experiencer and a spiritual experiencer and contactee. I'm also a channeler or a channel and a spiritual medium. And I recently found out, and I was thrilled to find this out, that prior to being born here on Earth and just living a normal life like everybody else, I was a Beta Centaurian. And I'm actually here, and I'm really honored to serve in an emissarial capacity on behalf of the extraterrestrial and angelic realms. So that was pretty thrilling to find out. And ironically, I found this out after I'd already been on YouTube for a while on my Seen Experiencers channel, and I'm all over social media. So I'd already been sort of acting in this capacity before I really even officially knew exactly what that capacity was. And it's truly an honor. And there is nothing else that I would rather be doing. I'm thrilled beyond belief to be here with you today and to be acting in this capacity. So, as a channel, I should probably mention that I regularly communicate with or channel with the archangelics, specifically Michael or Michael and Uriel. And Uriel was actually the first archangel that I was that I developed a relationship with while channeling, and I do feel very, 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 very close to both Uriel and Michael or Michael. I also channel the Ascended Masters, two of them. The first one is Jesus Christ, and the second one is Abdul Baha. So that would be the Ascended Master that came after Jesus Christ. I hear from, I think, 3 times now I've heard from Enki. So Enki was the Anunnakian who claims to have had a very significant role in our creation as human beings here on planet Earth. I also have heard from Ra, from the Law of One. And perhaps this is kind of funny, but I've also heard from an extraterrestrial, a mantis being. So he's an insectoid. His name is Chica. And the first time I heard from him, I have to tell you, I was so scared. I was terrified that I shut down the channel. I was just terrified. So, and I've heard from, I think, Chica, definitely 2 times, maybe 3 times that I'm aware of. So, just to learn a little bit more, I'd like to share a little more about myself with you, if I may. I think it's always good to know the people that that we see on YouTube. It's kind of know who the person really, really is, not just the face, on YouTube. So I kind of refer to this as my former life. And in my former life, I owned 2 nanotechnology startup companies. They were research and development companies. I started the first one myself in Florida. And then when my family and I were getting ready to move up to upstate New York, I closed down that business. And then my then husband and I, we all moved up there, the family and my then husband and I opened up the second company. So I've technically had 2 nanotechnology startup companies. Let's see, I have a degree in psychology, And I'm also trained as a massage therapist. So I went through school in New York State in a very, very rigorous program. It was a good school though, and I actually learned a lot about subtle energy. So it was interesting that I ended up in massage therapy school, and how that tied in with my spiritual path, if you will. Ironically, I passed the state boards. I could have gone ahead and started, practicing massage therapy in New York, but then I packed up and moved right away to Arizona. Isn't that just funny? So, and that's where I live now, is in sunny Arizona, and I do love it here. But I've also resided in Missouri and Florida and Maryland. And as I mentioned before, in upstate New York, outside of Albany. And I lived a couple other places, but only for brief periods of time. So, yeah, so I just wanted to have I just thought that this channel here on YouTube would be nice. It would be kind of more informal. If you notice, I'm here in my kitchen, here in my home. And I do have a studio for my Scene Experiencers channel. But for this channel, I kind of wanted to keep it informal and sort of homey and cozy. So, and I thought for today's topic, which is about chemicals in our food, specifically pesticides, especially, I just thought it would be fitting to chat with you here in the kitchen. So here I am. And so it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you, but I have to be honest. I got really sick. The whole reason for this video is to talk about, pesticides in foods and other things as well. But how I ended up going down this path and doing this particular video today is I suddenly became very, very ill. What happened is I was sick on 4 different occasions in about 6.5 weeks' time. So, and when I say sick, I don't mean to be, too much information here, TMI, but I mean like the worst kind of stomach bug you can think of type of thing, except that I didn't have a flu or anything like that. So I was sick out both ends at the same time, really sick. Okay. And again, I don't mean to be TMI or anything, but it's important enough that I get over feeling uncomfortable about this topic and just come on here and talk to you about it, because for people who are experiencers and contactees and who are they're growing in their consciousness and their spirituality and their overall just human growth and development, what happens is, for all of us, our vibration, so everything vibrates. I'm sure you probably know that by now. And but our vibration, becomes higher and higher and higher. And so, and that's why they call it sort of the high vibe lifestyle, right? And so now I'm really appreciating why that high vibe lifestyle is so important. And what happened is I by the 4th time I got sick, by the 3rd time I should say, I was so concerned that I was thinking I needed to go see a gastroenterologist or something. And then by the 4th time it happened, I started hearing from the archangelics and Jesus Christ at different times. And so what happened is I was advised to move away from food products that have pesticides in them. And so at least the last couple of times that I had been sick, I had without getting into the specific product or manufacturer, I had a non-whole food product. So it was a manufactured product that I'm sure, it wasn't labeled as organic or anything like that. So it had some extra chemicals in there, plus the pesticides. And I was informed by the divine realm that was my problem, was the pesticides, especially the pesticides. So I was advised to move away from eating like that and move towards foods that are free of pesticides. So as you can imagine, I had been so sick that of course I did it. There was no hesitation. So I went in and I cleaned out my pantry, and I had a couple of pretty big shopping trips with healthier food. And and to be honest, even prior to this, I think like a lot of people, I had, mostly sort of kind of been eating better and better. And, I would do really well. And then maybe I'd kind of fall down a little. And then I'd do really well. And then I'd kind of fall down. But I hadn't really paid that much attention to the pesticide issue. Not really. So this was just sort of like, I guess, the cherry on top, if you will. So, yeah. So I'm happy to report that in avoiding the pesticides in my food now, I do feel quite a bit better. I have not been sick again. Yay. Nobody wants to go through that. And interestingly, I hadn't really given this any thought, but I think it was the archangels, if I'm not mistaken, that suggested that I look into cosmetics that are a bit more natural. And I know I have some, but not all of them. So I'm going to start paying more attention to that. Let's see. Hair color. Now, this came up, I think it was 2 or 3 nights ago, something like that, that they actually, the archangelics advised that I start thinking about more natural hair color. So, yes, this blonde is not natural. Underneath this would be gray and brown. So I decided to go blonde. And so, yeah, so I actually went online and I did some research, and there are definitely products out there that are much gentler and more natural. And if you think about it, whenever any of us color our hair or have it colored in a salon, that's up against your scalp, and that's so anything that you put on your body, whether it's soaps or lotions or cosmetics or the foods we ingest or things we drink. And then I started thinking right before I started filming this, that I need to start paying more attention to the cleaning products in my house. So that'll be my next big thing that I get into. So, I'll keep you guys posted on, how things are going, and other topics as well, not just this topic. Like I said, this is a little more informal, and really, I think so many experiencers, and that's the whole reason I'm doing all of this, by the way, is I just feel like that, I was thrown in the deep end. I can tell you, I didn't know anything about any of this. I had an interest in extraterrestrials, and I think that's because of some experiences I had as around the age of, between 4 and 5. And those are very different from the more recent experiences I've had. But so I always had a sort of an interest and a curiosity about extraterrestrials. But truthfully, I wasn't really a spiritual person in terms of like religion. I've had some religious training. I've studied some religions of the world. I was basically brought up, I guess you would say, Christian. However, there's a lot of questioning in the family. Let's put it that way. I've also studied Judaism. So, I kind of touched on a number of the world's religions, but I wasn't really like into that. So, having seen an angelic being of light, an angel, which perhaps was meant to be an archangel, I'm not sure, seeing extraterrestrials and craft and things like that. And I just got thrown in the deep end. And I think, more than seeing some of these things, I think for me personally was hearing. And just having how do I say this? A higher level of awareness and being able to hear things that other people are not hearing. Every aspect of being an experiencer has just been awe-inspiring. It has flipped me out. It has excited me. It's enthralled me. Any word you can come up with. It's been an incredible experience. It's just been a wild journey. My whole life really got turned upside down for a while. And that's why we need to support one another. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. So I hope that especially for the newer experiencers out there, I hope that this information and any other information that I put out is helpful, for you. That is my goal, is just to let you know you're not alone. You're not the only person going through this. We are going through ascension. We're becoming a spacefaring race. And so it's appropriate for us to grow in our consciousness and our spirituality, not just our technology. So, and I'm very passionate about that. And I think I can say that, having owned 2 nanotechnology startup companies, and here I am, in the whole spiritual space now. But there's nowhere else I would rather be. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And again, my name is Donna M Atwood, and I am the founder of SEEN, the Spiritual and Extraterrestrial Experiencers Network. Thank you so much, and take care. Bye-bye.